Hello, hello. Miss by Michelin is at Aga's Kitchen today. It's around the Stafford area, kind of on the way to Sugarland, just outside of the Belt Loop. So it was quite a drive for an inner loop brat. So you know it's got to be good. So Aga's restaurant has been around for 15 to 16 years now. It's described as Indo Pak Cuisine. The management is supposedly new, but the reviews are still just as phenomenal. They're still killing it. The food is meant to be heavily influenced by the Pakistani culture in the aspect that it is very meat oriented. You don't get a lot of that in Indian culture. It's a lot more veg dishes. So that's where the whole Indo-Pakistani thing comes from. But regardless, personally, huge fan of both. Desi food absolutely speaks to my heart. All Asian food speaks to my heart, but Desi food specifically, just the flavors are really, really strong. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So as per usual, true to form, we did order a lot of dishes for just two people. No one's dining with us this time around, just me and David again. So for starters, we have the masala fish. It's gonna be battered, deep fried, marinated in spices, and then served with a side of tamarind chutney. So it's really nice and flaky and crispy. The fish inside is tender and still very juicy. And it's deep fried, right? So what could go wrong? That is wonderful, especially that chutney sauce. The tamarind chutney, so good. All right, next up we have the Afghani korma with chicken, and it's going to be essentially a curry that's a bit creamier. That's where the korma part comes in. Kormas are usually much creamier than your standard curries, which you probably imagine to be rather acidic. It's got chicken, a mixture of vegetables, spices, and it's going to be kind of like a cross between a chicken tikka and like a vindaloo, so like on the spice level and the creaminess level. Alright, so we're going to use our bread as a utensil here, as is commonly done in Desi culture, which is probably one of my favorite things about the culture. Alright, let's grab it like that. So good. Like I said, relatively mild. Still got a kick to it. Tiny kick, but okay. And very nice and creamy and rich. Very, very rich though. I can't overstate that enough. So I'd rather go for something lighter. It's not the dish I would get because it is heavy on the oils. Next up, we have the palak paneer. So palak paneer is going to be one of the most quintessential Indian Pakistani dishes. It's a mixture of spinach, some cream, paneer, which is a kind of cheese. It's like a cottage cheese. Maybe stay away from it if you're lactose intolerant. Don't stay away from it if you're scared of spicy food, because this is probably as mild as it gets. This is like a Indian take on cream spinach, essentially. So let's grab some bread. And dig in. Such a basic Indian dish, it really is. Who doesn't know saag paneer or palak paneer? But still to this day always will be one of my favorites. Just because cream spinach has, I guess, so this is as well. So the goat chops here are meant to be their signature item. You absolutely have to try it if you come, according to them. I'll let you know shortly if I concur with that opinion or not. Pretty good as per usual. I waited so long to actually eat my food because I've been photographing it, so it's a bit on the colder side. Completely my fault though. It comes out sizzling hot. I have pictures with smoke in them to prove it, but flavor wise it's phenomenal. Goat is going to be a bit gamier than beef, for instance, so if you're not about that, then maybe try to stay away from it. I love the heavier, gamier meats like lamb, goat, so it does it for me. It's pretty rockin'. Alright, so we have 3 different bread variations over here. We have the garlic naan, the bullet naan, and then paratha. So naans are, you know, your flatbread, but they're going to be made with yeast, so they are going to rise a bit. That's why they're fluffier, like so. And this one, the bullet naan, is topped off with some peppers and herbs and garlic, and this is just going to be garlic. Parathas are essentially rolled out flatbread, but they aren't going to be nearly as fluffy as a naan. They're rolled out, layered with butter, rolled out again, layered with more butter, and then cooked on a hot surface to where they literally cook through, but they don't rise at all. It's just going to be very flaky and buttery and delicious, but as you can see, there's a few layers in there. So yeah, you have layering forming like so because of all the butter that's used in the rolling out process. Pretty delicious. Alright, so some parting thoughts. I did enjoy this place thoroughly. However, I don't know if I'd necessarily make a trip out of the loop here more than about once or twice a month. We're gonna leave it at that. And price point wise, it is cheaper than most of the Indian places I'm used to. It's about $10 to $11 per plate versus, you know, your usual 13 to 14. So they have that going for them as well. But the food is delicious, definitely props to them, and their reviews are absolutely validated in my opinion.